In the quite opposite, I've been in music my whole life, and yes, I do it for fame and fortune. I'm not ashamed of that. I do it because I started a boy band when I was 12. So it's weird because I was in a Mexican boy band. I Yes, I did that and everything. Then they kicked me out of that band. I'm just gonna go fast because it's been a long time. That doesn't mean that I'm super old, but I start really young. Then they kicked me out because I was turning 17, and you are too old to be in a boy band when you're 17. Back in the day, nowadays they respect more things. But I stay in the record label. I've always been a record label mouse. I stay in the same record label. First, I stayed because I started doing the covers, the booklets so I get that contract. So I stay in the company as a external designer. So I open my first company, and then I make my first rock band with another guy from the boy band. He was a drummer. We reencountered taking music production classes. I told him we should do a band. He invited another friend. Suddenly, I got my first rock band called Ruta 69. That's Route 69, right? In Spanish, Ruta 69. Yes, of course, the innuendo was because of that, right? It's me. I'm not going to change. And then we released our first our first album, and it was a big experience for me because at that time I was doing it as an independent label with distribution from BMG, Ariola. So I got to learn everything from the scratch. Like everything that I thought it was normal and the record label does, I actually start valuing the hard work that you need to do and talk to every regional managers in Tower Records and mix up. So they put the album in the right place, the right poster. Now I'm talking pre-streaming services, of course. And I was really proud because I was the first independent, even I have distribution deal, band that mix up a sponsor for a tour. So they pay us to make a tour in malls, right? I'm talking about 2002. That didn't exist in Latin America, right? So we did that, and I remember this, and I will deep into that later, but in another episode. But I remember one of my biggest moments in life is when I went to Mix Up to buy my own album, and it was the poster from the something from the Atomic Bomb from U2. Remember that album from U2, the one, and then my poster, and then Coldplay poster. That moment for me was in the front thing. Why? Because as we were the only band in the record label at that time, I actually went with my guitar player to talk to every manager in every store and becoming their friends. So they started putting us in the front. And then because of the people that I knew from my connections with the record label, we started signing in the radio. And we got this big, amazing billboard in the highest traffic spot in the city, a digital billboard with my face. And I was so arrogant back then. It's like I was like 20 years old. Then we start touring. We did 74 shows for that tour. Then life happened. Sadly, my guitar player passed. The price to be famous, I guess. He got AIDS, a really young age. Then my bass player passed too, right? A year after in a car accident going to a show. So I was devastated. So just like you, Rachel, I retired from music, and that's it. That's it. But just like you, Meg, I needed a way to express what I was feeling because I was suffering a lot because I didn't know how to. I never went to normal schools. I got private teachers because of the boy band and the other band. So I wasn't like going to play soccer with my friends in the car. No, I just know how to do music and that's it. Music and business, that's it. So thanks to a guy called Agustin Arteaga and Ricardo Arteaga, they won a Grammy for a band called Café Tacuba in Latin America. So they made a lot of money with that. And we were friends. And they let me use their studio from 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. for free every day. So I brought an engineer and I started doing an album that I didn't know it was going to change my life because I created a double album of covers, right? Because I couldn't write. I wasn't ready to write because the heavy of the lyrics that you guys are mentioning is so heavy. I wasn't ready to say, you know what? My whole life was took away from somebody else, destiny. Um, but then I did a double album, and in the last song of the second album that I never planned, and again, this is YouTube is starting at this point. Um, at this point, I remembered that I said I want to do another song, and my keyboard player, that his name was Regan, not because he looked like Ronald Reagan, it's because he was so ugly that he looked like the girl from The Exorcist. Regan, he was ugly as hell. So we call him Regan. You know that I'm really ironic, Meg, so you gotta get used to me being ironic and bad with people. Anyway, Regan said, why don't you play this song? And I never heard that song. It was an amazing, famous song from a huge band, but I never heard about that band in Spain. And I listened to that song, and that song changed my life. Because I listened to it on YouTube. I remember I went inside the studio and I told Regan, can you play like clocks from Coldplay? The I mean, that kind of attack. And then I went and sing it. And then I called Agustin in the morning. I said, dude, can we get a symphonic orchestra? And he told me, you're crazy, right? Yes, we can. And then you put a symphonic orchestra, and that song gave me my first Grammy nomination as a burst arrangement of an original song for a new artist. So that changed my life. Then, as it was nominated, I moved to Spain, and I got a great manager called Lolo Otero that he teach me everything, the inside out. I got two mentors that I will be ungrateful not to thank them. Lolo Otero, rest in peace, an amazing manager. He was involved in everything that happened in Spain, from soccer to artists, right? Every concert passed through his hands. The guy was amazingly wealthy, fantastic guy. And my other mentor was Marco Bisi, that he was an eminence in EMI music and in Sony music, and now he's he got a big position in a company that distribute music. Big, I don't remember the name, sorry, but Marco Bisi. And so I learned so much from them, and I was just, believe it or not, I was really quiet. I've been to so much situations in my life. And after that, I decided to get back to music, obviously. And then I moved to the States. And big surprise, doesn't matter who you are outside the States. When you come here, no one recognizes you, no one gives you shit. Nothing at all. You need to start from the scratch. However, I came with a contract with a record label here, and they helped me with my papers, right? Where to live and things like that. And then life took another course, and I started making more business. I recorded an album for this company. From that, we struck the single. We did two projects. I did two projects with that company. Check this out, girls, because you're going to even love it or hate it. But I was the first artist to actually sing a K-pop in America. I was in the radio for a week with a cover from a band called Big Bang. And the name of the song is Fantastic Baby.
Cool. Perfect. Nice. Oh, spicy. Perfect. Nice. Awesome. Combo. Nice.
And it was Fantastic Baby is like La Bamba, right? For Mexico and Latin America. It's like, what is the name of that Neil Diamond song? Caroline, right? Like Caroline for America. That's how Fantastic Babies in Asia. And they put me in the radio. I had my hair blue, right?
I was going to ask if you dyed your hair for it.
Oh, of course. I got it every color. I got blue and emerald colors. And I got this amazing commercial, and the record label put it in the radio, and the radio station say, this is not going to work. A Latino singing K-pop in English, and they kick it out of the radio station. To all of them, 20 years later, those guys are filling up stadiums. So at the end of the day, I decided to retire from music after that fiasco. But then one day, COVID happens. right? Oh, let me tell this. When I was with that record company, I got into a big argument with somebody in the label. So I was really arrogant and say, I'm done. How much you spend for me? And I throw them a check. And then I left, really proud of myself. And I called my lawyer and he told me, tell me that you pick up your masters. So my masters were stuck in a judicial trial for more than 7 years. That's 7 years when YouTube went, and then I got stuck in the middle. And I say, that's it. I'm done with music. Whatever. Right? But then COVID came, and I got really sick. I was talking to you about this, Megan, and you know the story, Rachel. And one dear friend of mine called, well, we call him Pijamo, like PJ, right? He's the bass player of a band called DLD in Latin America for our Latino followers and future viewers. They're really huge in America. He told me we should do a band together, man. You almost died, and we never got the chance to make a band together. So we create again, and we start doing demos. Then we invited Stainer, and then Sony Music. Yes, Sony Music didn't allow PJ to be in the band because he's touring with his own band, and he couldn't manage it. So we bring another bass player, and again born after a year. And the biggest mistake in my career was to put out a band called Again. And maybe you know why, maybe you don't know why. It was because when you talk to Alexa or to Siri and told them, hey Siri, play Again, they will play the previous track. So we needed to change the name to Again and Forever, right? And then we changed the members. I got amazing members right now in the band, and I'm doing my second album. We released year one. But it was okay. We released with 250,000 streams the day that we released. So it was good, the album. But then we changed members. We changed from Again to Again and Forever. We jumped from 20,000 followers a month to nothing because you need to start from scratch. Spotify is so hard that you change your name and they don't pass your numbers. Even it's the same songs. However, we did that, and now I'm doing my second album. Now we have a record label of our own. We are talking to distribution with Sony, right, and with other big companies. And that's how I finish here having a podcast with my two best friends, Megan and Rachel, right? Rockstar that we found each other on TikTok and we became friends because we respect our talent and our friendship. And yeah, so that's what we decided to make this podcast.